Kasao. Good afternoon, good people. Many blessings to you and yours. Happy blessed day of victory. May conquest, expansion, and growth be a part of your reality all day today. This is the School of Orisa Studies, the Orisa Lifestyle Academy. I'm your instructor, and I've got a great lesson for you today. Great sharing, really, not so much a lesson as much as just some good news that I want to share with you about the things that are happening within the School of Orisa Studies in an attempt to create more opportunities for learning, for growth, for transformation for all those folks who are contemplating becoming a part of this fantastic movement of Orisa lifestyle that's sweeping the nation and sweeping the world as the ancestors return, as the ancestors are reborn, and as the ancestors help us to bring about the manifestation of the ancestral promise. So I'm going to let folks join us. Just hang out for a minute with Sweet Sounds of Brother Kunde, and then we'll get the conversation underway. And we're in the final days of summer. Fall is upon us. We can feel the change here in Georgia. Nights are a little bit cooler. Mornings are a little cooler. But the day is hot as ever. So I pray that you're enjoying the change of the season, however it is unfolding in your relative, your respective communities. Special shout out to my third son, Shekun. Turns 18 today. It's a great thing to see the young people grow. So this is his day. Happy birthday. May we celebrate next year with more joy, more cheer, more prosperity, more good health, more of all the good things. Ashe. Just got a couple minutes here. I'm gonna say actually two exactly, and we're gonna make this happen. So I can silence these little messages that come in. Boya Boshisho, Akwato. In the description of this video is where you're going to find the link for the classes. Yeah, I see some thumbs up. Yeah, if you like these sweet sounds of Brother Kunde, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you enjoy these sounds. This Brother Kunde he's from Dahomey, from the Republic of Benin. I haven't seen him for many years, but we were close. He tutored me on some phone cosmology and taught me some real crucial lessons that have helped shape my practice in a real special way. So I'm always appreciative of his contribution to my practice that lives on through these are traditional songs. Most of them are traditional songs. I think one or two of them are not. These are traditional songs for the most part that he has rearranged and modernized with the guitar. There's some that have strings and a trap set. He was a great drummer. He played the traps. He played the traditional drums. But he wanted to make the tradition accessible to people outside of Africa, So he arranged these songs and kind of took some of the proverbial wisdom and made them into this sort of a melodic chanting format, so that we could learn the feel, we could learn the vibe, and just groove along with it, So I'm absolutely appreciative of it. So we give thanks. We give thanks to Olodumare, Obatere de Kaye, the great king who spreads his mat out in all directions. We give thanks to our mother, the earth. We give thanks to the great custodians of the traditions who have kept Orisa lifestyle alive all around the world. We give thanks for our ancestors. We give thanks for the eldest members of our respective communities, as well as the youngest members of our respective communities. And we dedicate everything that we do here to the future generations. So all of our efforts to bring light to the tradition and elevate the practice is really intended to help the future generations to find the way with more ease. And so we dedicate everything we do to the youth. We dedicate it to the brand new ones. We dedicate it to those who have not yet even been born. And we promise that we'll use all the resources that have been given to us and everything that we discover along the way to help make this practice more accessible to future generations. Hashem. And so one thing I want to say about what we're doing here in the School of Orisa Studies and the purpose of really sharing some of our great stories with you is um, I'm not trying to, win over the naysayers. I'm not trying to sway the naysayers. I'm not trying to convince the doubters. I'm not trying to persuade the non-believers, right? It's not about that. As soon as you choose a position, there's going to be people who choose opposition. That's the nature of things. And so the more conviction you have one way, then you can expect more opposition. And that's the nature of the game. So as soon as, I chose the position to educate my people on Orisha lifestyle, I knew there would be various forms of opposition, doubt, and challenges. So I accept that. And I know that that's part of the deal. And by the grace of Ori, I will continue to transcend those limitations and make a more meaningful contribution to the people who I'm destined to serve. And that's what I'm talking to. That's who I'm really hoping to reach, is the people who I'm destined to serve. And the people who I'm destined to serve, they know. When they hear the message, it resonates with them and they respond accordingly. So I want to keep getting the message out in front of those people who need to hear it, who are ready to hear it, who are ready to receive it, who are ready to respond to it, so that we can keep doing what we were destined to do. Okay. And I want to point out in that process that not everybody is ready to learn at all the time, right? Certain things have to happen in your experience in order for you to be open and receptive to learning, right? Certain things have to open up within you for you to realize, hey, this is the time for me to take advantage of this opportunity because I'm ready. For some reason, I feel ready to take on what's being presented to me. And so those are the folks who I'm really talking to, because I know that there are people who come to Orisha lifestyle for one reason or another, and they find themselves, for example, in Africa, being initiated, undergoing these really intensive rituals and ceremonies, and they're still not, quite properly placed to learn and grow and ask the kinds of questions that they need to ask and demonstrate their readiness to learn, right? Because that's another part of the equation, is you got to be able to demonstrate that you're ready to learn, especially in this tradition. You got to be ready. You got to be prepared to say, not only say, but do things that demonstrate that you're ready to go to the next level. I remember the very first time, for example, that I went to Nigeria. Now, I had been an apprentice for about 5 years before I went to Nigeria, right? So when I arrived in Nigeria, I arrived as Obafemi Origunwa. My passport, when I went, said Obafemi Origunwa. That's what's on my passport from way back when. And I had already accomplished certain things, as a man and as a professional. I already had a master's degree in education. I was already a seasoned professional educator when I went, right? I had already started a family. I had already bought a home, right? I was at a certain stage of life, even though I was relatively young, right? And it positioned me to use everything that I had to acquire the things that I knew that I wanted. So right now, I probably could go over that. I brought back whole language curriculum, right? I went to the schools in Nigeria, and I met teachers, and I asked them to, share with me how they teach, right? And give me the materials or sell me the materials. What do you use to teach your first graders, your second graders, your third graders? Because that's always been my intention, right? So anyway, I remember being in the shrine once, and I'm sitting there with a couple of the younger awo, the omu awo of my oluo, and I remember watching the sacrifice being performed. And as I watched, there were some things that I wasn't familiar with, the things I saw. I'm used to this being done a different way. So I started to ask different questions. I think I was asking him about the Igbo, the Iranshe. These are the indicators that we use: a shell, a bone, a stone, a seed, etc. And I was asking him how he was making certain determinations. And this is, his first time meeting me. And so he looked at me and says, "I can't tell you that." And I said, "Well, what do you mean you can't tell me that?" He said, "Well, before I can tell you that, you have to be able to read the Opele." And I said, "Well, I can read the Opele." He said, "No, you can't." I said, "Yes, I can." So he threw the Opele. "What is that?" "That's Okanra. What is that?" "That's Obedi. What is that?" "This is Erosu Okara. What is that?" "That's Oshe Otura." So he looked over. He says, "Oh, okay. Well, what about the rank? Which one is senior?" So he throws once and he throws twice. "Which one is senior?" I said, "Well, this one is senior." He throws again and again. He said, "What is that one is senior?" He did it again. Said, "Oh, that one is senior." So then he looked over at his brother. His brother said, "He knows. Tell him." And so at that moment, then they started going through. They realized this guy's not a tourist. He actually has studied. He knows what we're doing here. So I am not going to treat him like a tourist. I'm going to, educate him according to what appears to be his knowledge and skill level, right? And so that is very important, right? I was in a position to demonstrate that I know certain things. So it gives me a certain authorization to ask more penetrating questions, to get, further instruction, to get a deeper understanding of the technique. Okay. And that's how I want all of my students to be. It gives me supreme pride when I'm able to take someone over to Nigeria and they're undergoing the rites and they're participating in the ceremonies with their eyes open, with their minds engaged, and they're able to participate, even if they don't know all the words that are being said. Even if things are slightly different from the way I have taught them, they are aware enough to be able to follow and ask questions and be engaged in the process. They're not just being dragged through a ceremony. That is partly what makes me very happy, because I know that the more aware you are and the more engaged you are in the rituals and the ceremonies, the more active you're going to be in the process. As things are unfolding, you're a part of it. You're not just an observer. All right. So that is for the person who completes all of the studies, right? And they're qualified to accompany me to Nigeria. I know with a high level of certainty that these people are ready. They are prepared. They are not just observers. They are ready to get involved and participate in this transformative experience called Orisha lifestyle. So, what I want to share with you today, in addition to my own story, that was just a part of what I wanted to share today to give you some idea of what it means to be prepared to be a learner. I want to share with you what one of my own students has recently said about her experience. She's going to share her story in the School of Orisa Studies and how it has prepared her for a certain kind of a spiritual experience. Um, Now, she says that I was in search of a spiritual community that was, quote, all inclusive, similar to what you would find at a luxury all inclusive resort, meaning everything is 5-star and right at your fingertips. Your travel arrangements, hotel accommodations, 5-star restaurants on location, activities, shopping, etc. Mostly everything you need in one package. I was looking for a community that was not just growing, but looking to transform spiritually, mentally, physically, and energetically. So you can see this is a person who was looking for something exceptional, something very rich, something very high quality, very important. The better you know what you're looking for, the easier it's going to be for you to find it. The easier it's going to be for you to identify it and recognize it when it's in front of you. And then you can act accordingly. You can participate. You're engaged in that process because you know what you're looking for. And this individual is looking for something high quality, right? Something that was fully transformative, physically, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, right? So she decided to join because that dream that that I just mentioned, I decided to join because the dream I just mentioned, I found it in SOS, the School of Orisa Studies. I'm about 3 weeks in. Okay, so these are her first impressions. This is beginner's mind. I'm about 3 weeks in. And so what we've done together has been in the early stage of student-teacher realm. The one-on-one sessions, just one-on-one engagement, we have done during the study group and dream analysis has already helped to open up some blockages I was experiencing both professionally and personally. Okay, the structure slash freedom, right? The structure dash freedom here is second to none. Literally, the way the structure is set up, it seamlessly fit into my everyday life so smoothly. Because it's so uniquely structured, I am able um, I am able to act within that structure and be the creative who is not only artistic but is also extremely productive, right? The School of Orisa Studies is building a true community that includes every aspect one needs to thrive and be successful in this world. SOS gives one the tools to stand in their power. SOS gives one the tools they need to stand in their power. I find that very, very rich. SOS is helping ones get back to a tradition and culture. Thank you, Oluo. And Fasola, signed Fasola, her name. So that's like a really profound and comprehensive look at Fasola's story, what she was looking for, what she found, how she's experienced it, how it's helping her professionally and personally, and allowing her to have the freedom and the structure she needs to be all that she wants to be in this stage of her life. And so, some of the things that I want to point out that were really high impact statements for me in Fasola's statement was that one, she was looking for something that was all inclusive and high quality. Okay, all inclusive and high quality. Now, the reason why that matters is because Orisha lifestyle is all inclusive. That's why it's lifestyle. That's why I emphasize the lifestyle. It's all inclusive. It isn't just the medicine or just the rituals or just the music or just the the divination. It isn't any of those things in isolation. All of them have to go together. Okay, and this is why I really emphasize consistency so much. It's so important that what you do is consistent. Your drumming and your dancing and your medicine and your divination and your verses, all of these things have to be consistent. Otherwise, even if you're saying they're all isheshe, they don't all necessarily go together. Okay, so what we're doing is all inclusive. We're covering all the areas of activity, right? But we're doing so in a way that all of these things are consistent with one another. Okay, they're consistent. They don't contradict one another. It's very important, and everything is high quality. Okay, I can always say that the content that I'm sharing, the methodology that I'm sharing, is top notch. It's from the best of the best. I've learned from the best of the best. All of my teachers, all of my mentors have been the best of the best, right? Top notch, top shelf, 5-star teachers who have 5-star practices. Okay, and I myself am a 5-star player, right? If I show you my degrees up on the wall, I've graduated from the best universities in the world, and I worked at the best universities at the world, in the best Fortune 100 corporations in the world. So it's 5-star. Everything that I'm offering is top notch. It's best quality, because quality can't be added. Okay, quality can't be added. What you get is what you get. You can't turn silver into gold. You can't turn brass into gold. You got to start with gold, and then you can shape it and mold it. But it's got to be high quality from the start. So everything that we're offering here in the School of Orisa Studies, top quality. Okay. The other thing that really stood out for me in Fashola's statement was that she was searching for a community that was devoted to holistic growth and transformation. Right. So on the other side of offering Odu studies and dream analysis and devotion and prayers and song and music and medicine, in addition to offering all of those things, because of my background, I understand how all of those activities are associated with certain internal functions. So we're doing these things deliberately and strategically and purposefully so that certain kinds of internal functions will be activated within the student. Super key. I'm not just putting stuff out in front of my people. I'm doing it in a certain sequence with a certain methodology because I know that certain things are going to happen in their thinking, in their feeling, and in their doing. And gradually, we're going to remap and rewire and reorientate the way people proceed in life, which is kind of what she was alluding to, or she explicitly said in her story, right? This is helping me be the best kind of person that I can be in the world, not just in the shrine, right? Because this isn't meant to be lived in the shrine. It's meant to be lived in your profession. It's meant to be lived in the world. It's meant to be lived when you drive your car, when you go to the market. It's meant to be lived in every facet of your life. So we've got to be able to activate these energies within you and prepare you to exercise and demonstrate certain capabilities everywhere that you go and in everything that you do. So that whoever comes in contact with you, if the teachings are correct, anytime people come in contact with you, they're going to say, there's something about you. I feel something about you. You are a particular kind of person, right? You got a vibe about you that moves me in the way that I think I like, right? Or in a way that I can respect and admire. People, not everybody's gonna like you, but they can respect and admire that you're coming from the root. The third thing that she said that I found really, really important that I want you to take away from the story is that she recognizes how the SOS structure fits seamlessly into her daily life, and it allows her to be artistic and, in her own words, extremely productive. Okay, crucial. A lot of times when you have an artistic person, a creative person, it's challenging for creative people to also be productive, to be consistent, to create a kind of structure and a kind of lifestyle that allows them to innovate and imagine, but at the same time translate all of those ideas into practical outcomes. Very important. This to me is crucial because we need to be creative. We need to be imaginative enough to see things that other people don't see. The world that we live in, the ancestors and the divinities are coming back through us so that we can save the world. We're here to save the world. We're here to learn Orisha, not to get bigger houses, not to get fatter bank accounts, not to get more fame. Those can be byproducts of our contribution, but we're going to save the world. That's our charge. That's our mission. Mark my words. When it comes to solving world crises around health, around the environment, around interpersonal relationships, it will be Orisha people who will be at the forefront or who will have their hands on the engines of progress and change. We are here to save the world. Okay. And that's where this extreme productivity comes in. Because if we have the capability to see the world as it truly can be, according to what we know from our ancestors, then we're also now in the position to implement things in a different way, in a way that's going to be more helpful, in a way that's going to be more sustainable, in a way that's going to be more that's going to be healthier for all aspects of life, physically, emotionally, environmentally, etc. Okay, so that part of it really moved me, right? I have a strong emphasis on contribution, on work and productivity. So I love that she picked up on that. And then the last thing that she said was that the School of Orisa Studies gives one the tools to stand in their power and get back their tradition and culture. I love that because our tradition is grounded in an understanding that your superpower is your identity. Your superpower is that thing that you chose in the prenatal state that only you can embody, that only you can express. There's a solution to our problems that only you can present to the world. You have to understand that and respect that and take that seriously enough to be able to, codify and master your natural gifts and talents in such a way that you can be reliable. You have as much confidence in your own power as you have in your cell phone, in your computer, in your car. You know that your phone is going to do certain things. You know that the car is going to do certain things. You have a high level of confidence in the capabilities in those things because you've used them over and over and over again, and they've demonstrated and proven that they can perform for you. Likewise, If the teachings are proper, you will look at your own destiny in that way. Any problem that you have, you'll know I can look to my destiny to solve this problem. Any innovation that you want to bring about, you ought to know I can look at my destiny to find the answers and the resources to create this new reality. That is what it means to stand in your power. That is what Orisa lifestyle ought to bring to all of its devotees and practitioners. And so I was really struck that Fasola was able to discern that right so early in her practice here with us, and to convey it in her story. And so one of the things that it brings to my mind is that there's a thing that they call the law of the few. It's the law of the few. And the law of the few, it says that it's a small percentage of the total population that will be at the forefront of change, that will be at the vanguard of progress. It's a small group of people. Okay, it's never the masses. As a rule, the majority of the people are average. As a rule, the majority of the people are just falling in line. Just as a rule. That's why it's called the average. But then you always have a small percentage of the people who, for one reason or another, will get out ahead of the curve. You got a small group of people who will drive change, right? And I know that some of those people, you might have one leg in the Nation of Islam. You might have one leg in yoga. The people who I'm talking to, you might have one leg in astrology. You might have one leg in the manosphere. You might have one leg in the beehive. You might have one leg in the black church, right? But the other leg you have in Orisha, you have it in African spirituality. And you're trying to figure out, how am I going to use these principles of African spirituality to recapture my identity, to rediscover my true tradition, and live in a way that's consistent with my ancestry, that's consistent with my culture, where I come from, and what I want to bring into the world, not only for myself, but for my family and for my community. All those folks, those are the ones, those are the few, because there's a few here and there's a few there and a few, and those few are all starting to find their way into Orisha lifestyle. So I want to make sure that as you do, you've got a reliable, consistent, easily accessible methodology for learning and practicing and growing in this tradition, because those few are going to be at the forefront of change. I know it, and I've already seen it. It plays itself out in the stories of these students that I'm sharing with you this week as we go live. There's another concept that's related to the power of the power of the law of the few. It's something called 6 degrees of separation. Now, most people have misconstrued 6 degrees of separation. The common belief is that 6 degrees separation means that everybody is separated by 6 degrees, right? We're all 6 people away from whatever else we're looking for. That's not what the 6 degrees of separation actually is about, though. 6 degrees of separation really says that everybody is connected by 6 people, right? You got these big clusters of people that are connected by a few. There's just a handful of people who know everybody. There's a handful of people who not only know everybody, but they attract large numbers of people. They not only attract large numbers of people, but they have the capability to influence large numbers of people, right? And like I said, some of those influencers are in the beehive. Some of them are in the Nation of Islam. Some of them are in the black church. Some are practicing astrology. Some are practicing yoga. But they are also trying to figure out how to deepen their practice of Orisha lifestyle. It is those few that I'm talking to. I'm looking for those leaders. I'm looking for those folks who are committed to improving the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, no matter what you're also practicing, if you're one of those people, I want you to find out how the School of Orisa Studies can help elevate your life and refine your practice to help you make a more meaningful contribution to your own life and to the lives of those who you are destined to serve. And so I want to invite you to orishalifestyle.com, to obafemio.com, and click join the School of Orisa Studies. Join today. If you join this week, I've got offers of 50% off a couple of my really important courses. I got a course on Ifa medicine and protection, and I've got another course on the intro to Yoruba spirituality. I'm offering those at 50% off for my students who enroll in this enrollment period. That's it. Everyone doesn't have access to it. Only the folks who are enrolling or actually in a couple of classes, in the gold class and the amethyst class, they will be able to take advantage of that. Likewise, I'm going to offer a 10% off of all my books. Okay, so I'm going to share that in the group right now. And anybody who joins in the school in this week will also be able to take advantage of a 10% discount on all books. And again, this is not to, you know what I mean? This isn't to sway the naysayers or the doubters. This is for the folks who know that you're ready to take your life and your practice to the next level. So if that's you, I look forward to seeing you in the School of Orisa Studies. And if not, I pray that all good things will continue to abide with you, that the way will continue to open and unfold for you from the inside out, that your life will be filled with joy, inspiration, and a real true sense of purpose. That's all I got for you today, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now. Odabo.